Welcome to episode 172 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha, and you can... What? My name is Kalisha, and you can find me anywhere online as Nadira Tani. I'm coming to you today from my home in Central Florida. And, yeah, if you're new, welcome. I hope you find something here that you can connect with. And if you're returning, thanks for coming back. Pats on the shoulder for getting another episode out, right? Yay! We're so excited. Why am I whispering? I just realized I was whispering, and I'm the only person in the house right now. It's just me and Tootie, Zeus, and Zuri. And I'm legit sitting in here whispering. Before I get too far into the chit chat, one of you wanted to know last episode where Tootie was, and she's right over here looking at me. Tootie, you want to come say hi? Yeah, you. They want to see you. Come here. She's like, okay, all right. Come here, Miss Boots. Ugh. Here is Miss Tootie. Say hello, my friends. It's been a long time since I've been on the podcast. I'm here. Since you last saw me, I had to get 2 teeth pulled because I had broken tooths. I don't know how I broke these tooths, but I did. And I had to go under the anesthesia, get my teeth cleaned. Yeah? How did you feel about that? Really? Well, tell them more. Oh, are you ready? Are you ready to be done? What else? Yeah? Oh. And then what? You got to tell them. They're over here. Tell them. Oh, yeah? Wow. Really? Uh-huh. Oh. We have big feelings. Okay, that's enough. But anyway, so there's Miss Tootie. Her biggest life moment recently has been getting her teeth cleaned at the vet. RIP to our wallet. But yeah, she had to get her teeth cleaned, and she had to get 2 teeth pulled because they were broken. One was broken and then one was loose. So yeah. But she has recovered back to her little ornery self. Yeah. So did I say everything for the intro business? I believe so. I want to turn my fan on, but it's like super loud. So y'all are just going to have to bear with the slight glisten that is happening with your girl. Bright spots. So let's jump right in and do some bright spots. I screenshotted the bright spots that were left in last episode's comment section. So bright spots, if you are new, is a section of the podcast where I like to highlight good things that have been happening to members of our community. So if something good happens to you, or something like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be like a thing that happened, but just something that brings you joy, leave a comment telling us about what that thing is, so that we can all get a little joy together. So I think I have a mosquito bite on my face. How rude. Anyway, so we have a couple bright spots from last episode, and the first comes from Maggles. They said, February, I got a new job after losing my previous in October. I'm working as a behavior technician in a clinic for kids with autism. My dream job. That is awesome. Congrats on landing your dream job. I still don't know what my dream job would be, if I'm honest. Who even knows? Well, Maggles knows what her dream job is. Not Kalisha. I'm just out here. Rebecca's Bright Spot says, bright spots. We have our cluster of birthdays starting with my daughter-in-law on the 28th of February, my niece, my daughter, me, my grandson, who is now 3 and shares a birthday with my late grandmother, and finishing with my future son-in-law on the 15th. Then my son and daughter-in-law's anniversary is the 18th, a month of celebrations. That's really cool. I think in the last episode, I was talking about how my family has at least one birthday in almost every single month throughout the year. So we don't have any clusters. It sounds like shenanigans are happening in the background. Zeus, are you doing something you shouldn't be doing? The silence is deafening. It sounded like he was shredding something. He's probably sitting very still right now, like, if she doesn't hear me, she doesn't know what I'm doing. Anyway. Well, let's see. The last date she said was the 18th. I'm assuming that's March 18th. So as of now, today's the 24th. So happy birthday to all of those birthdays, Rebecca, and happy anniversary to your son and daughter-in-law. Let's see. We got a couple bright spots that said the new podcast was a bright spot. Y'all, I'm glad that me getting back on the podcasting horse, it counts as a bright spot for some of you guys. I really appreciate that. And the last bright spot says, here it is. It's from Marianne. And it says, my bright spot is my oldest son got engaged to his longtime girlfriend, and we are so happy for them. They are a great couple, and she's a lovely person. Congratulations to your son on his engagement, and many blessings to them in their married life. All right, friends, that is all of the bright spots that were in last episode. I was going to say last week's episode, girl. It was not last week. Anywho, in the previous episode. So if you would like to share a bright spot, a good thing, something that made you feel warm and fuzzy inside, definitely leave those in the comments and we'll share them in the next episode. And with that, we are going to Zeus. I don't even know if you guys can hear that, but it's just like paper crinkling. I know he's up to no good. Zeus is like that child that, you have the kid in the house and then suddenly it's too quiet. He's that kid. I'll be right back. Zeusy boy, what are you doing? Oh. Yeah? Are you supposed to have this? No. No paper. You didn't have a doggy toy. You have this one. This is what he was playing with. He's sitting next to the box of all of the dog toys, and this is what he wants to play with. All right, so the next piece of admin that we need to talk about is the Pisces season make-along 2024. I decided to go ahead and extend it to the end of the month, primarily because the majority of Pisces season, I was not MIA, but low-key MIA. Like a week and a half at the beginning of March, I was chaperoning a trip with Lamar, my husband. I'll talk about that later. But because of that, I wasn't active online. I wasn't like looking at anything. So I was just like, you know what, let's just go ahead and like extend it to the end of March. So if anybody is still wanting to participate, go ahead and make sure that you're posting your items on Instagram using our hashtag Pisces Season 2024. Nope, Pisces Season MAL 2024. And at the end, I will be drawing a winner, or drawing a prize winner. We have a donation, a prize donation from one of our viewers. So what I will be doing is gathering the posts from Instagram and doing a random drawing through people who have used the hashtag and who have posted projects along the way. And I will get the winner in touch with the prize donator so that that prize can be sent out. Yeah, it's been extended. Huzzah! That's all of admin bits. Let's go on to finished objects. Okay, so I have a couple of finished objects that I'm super excited about. One that I'm like super excited about, and like the next one I'm excited about, but like not as excited. Well, whatever. Let's get into it. So the first finished object that we're just gonna jump right in with is my granny square cardigan. This is my big project for the Pisces season make along, and here it is. I made all of these granny squares using the Red Heart Granny Square all-in-one yarn in the colors soft. Do I have the? Nope. This one is soft white, icy, frosty, frozen, something like that. It's soft white and then something having to do with like cold water. And then this one is amethyst. I used one skein of each one of the colorways, and I have enough left over to make 2 more of each color square. This is how it looks. I love it. So I did 3 squares across for the back, or it's 3x4. 3x4 for the back, and then 1x4 for each of the fronts. When I was doodling up the plan, I didn't take into consideration the width of my body, like front to back. So I didn't have anything in the sides, which you need because I'm not a 2-dimensional creature. So I ended up having to put a side piece in like that. And then my sleeves are just regular granny in the round and ribbing. One thing I am going to do, I've worn this out one time, and what I am going to do is do another round on the cuff of just single crochet to just tighten them up ever so slightly. And then, yeah, it'll be done. Actually, no. There is one more thing that I want to do to it, but let's talk about my favorite part of this sweater. And y'all saw a peek of it earlier when I showed the side piece, but it has inseam pockets, and I am in love with these things. I don't know why it never crossed my mind to do an inseam pocket on a crochet piece, because I've done them in sewing and they're super easy, right? But it just never crossed my mind to put into a crochet piece. So I started here with the same number of stitches that were in my seam opening. So I did that, and then I double crocheted and I increased until I got to this point. And the way that I determined what this point was, I held it up against the sweater because I didn't want the pocket to go lower than the body. I didn't want it to cross into the ribbing. And then once I got to that point, I worked even until it basically covered the rest of the body to the like button band part. And then I seamed that together. So I had, you know, a pocket. And then to sew it in, I just, what did I use? I used slip stitches to attach the stitches on the pocket to the stitches on the body. Went around like that. And that's how it's in there. On the inside, I just tacked it right here to hold the pocket up. But I did notice after wearing it that this one little tack spot is not enough. So I'm going to go back and I'll probably tack all the way down the button band so that it has, you know, rigidity. So when I put something in there, the whole pocket doesn't like stretch down like this, like it was doing when I wore it the first time. So I'm going to do that on both sides and then it'll be finish, and perfect. I am in love with this cardigan. Because it's a granny stitch, it is like very breezy. I can wear it in Florida and not feel like I'm about to die. And I'm really, really happy with it. I'm so glad I made this piece, and the colors just make my heart sing. So there it is. I'll put up some, I don't know if it's pictures that I have or a video of me in it, but I love it. That's all I have to say about it. So good. All right, my next finished object also is a Pisces season make-along project, and that is this tank top. This is the Summer Secret tank by Jessie Mae Martinson, and I think this is the fourth one that I've made. I want to say fourth. I haven't woven in the ends because, but here it is. This yarn, the blue yarn at the bottom, was a gift from my friend Xiaomeng, definitely over a year ago. And I took this yarn with me on the field trip, the trip that I chaperoned. And I started this project the night before we left. And I worked on it throughout the trip, provided I got to this point. The reason that it ends in white is because I ran out of yarn. But I ran out of yarn, like, the trip was 9 days. I think I ran out of yarn on like day 4 or 5. But there we are. It was fun, you know, knitting on this throughout the trip because the students were like, wow, Miss Ryan, like, you're going really fast. And I'm like, you know, I could go faster, but, you know, thanks. Once I got home, you know, like, everybody was asking me on the trip, what are you going to do about running out of yarn? How will you buy more of this yarn? And I was fairly certain that I wouldn't be able to buy more of this yarn. I Googled, I tried, unsuccessful. So I thought to myself, that's fine. I have plenty of blue yarn, like solid blue, fingering weight sock yarn at home. Like, I can find a blue to match this yarn. Spoiler, no, I had no blue yarns that were the same type of blue as any of the blues in this, like, colorway, which completely blew my mind. But that was totally wild. And I feel like I'm the kind of person who never realizes what colors I don't have in my stash until I need a specific color. Like, I have a solid blue, but it was more of a purpley blue. I have a light blue that I thought was going to match this, but it turned out that one was a little bit green leaning, and I was unable to see that green leaning, like, hue of it until I started working it up in here and I saw it next to the color it was supposed to be matching. One thing I did learn is that all of the blue yarns that I bought myself, like that weren't given to me by someone else, but if I went and picked a blue yarn, it is a green leaning blue, which good to know. But I definitely wanted to immediately like run to Knit Picks and buy a skein of blue, like proper blue yarn to finish this. But then I thought, you know what, Kalisha, let's see if there's something that I already have in my stash. Let's not go out there and just buy another skein of yarn just to finish this piece. And Lamar was the one who suggested maybe I should just do the undyed. And my concern with that was like, what if it doesn't match this white? But luckily, it pretty much does. They're slightly different in that the undyed is a little bit warmer, but they don't like run close enough to each other in the piece that you can even really see that. So there it goes. That's done. I still have to, what I have to do, weave in the ends, and it'll be ready to wear. Oh, I guess I can tell you all the mods that I make. I knit it full length. The pattern is written to be a crop top. So I do about 1 inch of ribbing, and then I keep knitting straight until I hit about 14 inches. And then I do the split for the back the way that she has it written. I work the front. I have started doing a ribbed edge collar. It's kind of a collar. I do a ribbed collar at the top and then regular bind off. The biggest mod that I do to this pattern is I don't do her I-cord straps. I do crochet straps. So my straps are 4 stitches across in single crochet, and I think it's like 84 rows or something like that. And then I attach them. And then the last thing that I do to make sure that my straps don't stretch out is I do a slip stitch up one side. I go like from the back, I go up one side, down, around the front, up the other side, down. I come back around, and then I, finish that path, rotation, whatever. When I go across the front, I do single crochets across the front, which makes the front very rigid. So I don't have to worry about that stretching out. I don't have to worry about my straps stretching out. And yeah, it works out really nice. Summer Secret Crop Top. Summer Secret Crop Top by Jessie Mae Martinson. We love it, clearly, because I've knit like 4 or 5 of them to this point. So those are my biggest finished objects. I have, let's see, speaking of things that I made while on the trip, I took a break one night from knitting on the tank top to make a cowl. One of the cities that we were in for the trip was Atlanta, and when we were in there, it was so cold, and I was not ready. So we stopped at a Walmart to let the kids get some, snacks and stuff like that. And so when we were in there, I ran to the yarn section. I grabbed myself a gray skein of yarn and a crochet hook. And that night I whipped up this cowl. It used the whole skein of yarn, and it kept me quite comfy the next day. And I'm glad that I made it, because the next day we ended up being outside for pretty much the entire day, going through the Martin Luther King Jr. Historic Park, I think it is. So that cowl was keeping your girl nice and toasty. My plant light just went off. I was kind of laughing to myself as we were coming back because I'm not gonna use it in Florida. You know what? I won't say I'm not going to use it because we be having like 1 to 2 cold days. And I just need to make sure that I know where the cowl is for when we have those 1 to 2 cold days. So I can pull it out, let it have its 24 hours of glory, and then go back into the storage unit. But that was a quick project. That's one of my favorite things of being a crafter is that I can just like whip something up if I have a need. And I just love that. Let's see. My next 3 finished objects are small things. Let's see. I'll do a picture and then 2 physicals. So actually, no, it's a video. So this is a video of a toy that I made for Tootie. I have kind of been on a Dollar Tree kick that you guys will see more of in a little bit. But I had gone into this one Dollar Tree and they had this kind of teddy bear fiber fabric, like teddy bear feeling fabric. And then they also had this fur. And both of those textures are like Tootie's favorite thing in the world. If I have a blanket on my bed with either of those textures, she is going to shove it in her mouth and just like suck on it like a pacifier. The weirdest thing I've ever seen, but it's also really cute. So when I saw these 2 fabrics in the store, of course I thought, what can I make for Tootie? So I just made her kind of a, like, what would you call it? Like a little safety blanket. It's literally this big. And I just put them face to face, sewed around it, flipped it right side out, and then sewed the little hole shut, and I gave it to her. And she was just like, this is the best thing ever. So I made that. And the last 2 things I have are another Dollar Tree thing, which is this little guy. Isn't he cute? So this is one of the Dollar Tree amigurumi kits. He's adorable. I love him. The other one of these that I have made already was a few months ago. I made the dog that looks almost exactly like Kiva. So recently I was in the, like, going through all of the Dollar Trees in my area looking for these little macrame kits for my mom. And in one of the Dollar Trees, they had all of the different versions of the crochet amigurumi toy kit. So I bought them all. And this is the first one of the new set that I made. One thing I will say is that these are not beginner friendly by any stretch of the imagination. This is what the instructions look like. So if you don't know how to read a chart, this is not for you. Also, look at this. How am I supposed to read that? How? I was sitting here really just feeling like a granny, looking at it like I had bifocals, like trying to see how many little X's. Oh Lord, how many little X's are on that round 4? Excuse us? I got there eventually though. We persevered. He's waving like that because this arm turned out to be 1 row shorter than this one, and I didn't feel like making any changes. So I sewed it on and I just put it up like this so that it wouldn't be so super obvious. I don't know what's going on with his foot here. Like, why is it pointy while the other one is not? I don't know. He's got a little peg leg going on. He's special. We love him. He also needs a name. So can someone please name Little Pink Bunny? I love him. He's so stinking cute. I can't handle it. I think either this one or the dinosaur will be my next one. it technically comes with everything that you need to make the project. It comes with a hook. It comes with yarn. It comes with a needle. And I say it like that because the hook is hot garbage. It's like bendy plastic. The needle is also plastic, which I did use the needle to finish this one because I couldn't find my metal ones. But that crochet hook, don't try it. Don't do it. Just use one of your own. The yarn is very slippery. So if you do find these and you want to do one, my recommendation, change to a crochet hook that you're comfortable using. It's either going to be a 3mm or 3.25, I think, millimeter hook to do these projects. I'm not sure why, but I ended up with this much extra pink yarn from my bunny. I don't know why. This is a lot of extra yarn. So there's that. Let's see. What else can I tell you about this? It's very slippery, so it kind of made my fingers hurt because I had to hold it so tightly. But other than that, you're good to go. I think I will definitely make the bunny again with bigger yarn because he's just so cute, right? Another thing that I did with these when I was making the dog was I took a picture of the chart on my phone so that I could zoom in on it, which is what I should have done with the bunny, but I just didn't feel like it. Start to finish, it took me 2 hours and change. Yeah. So that's my little bunny. He needs a name. Somebody name my bunny. And then the last finished object that I have are these resin charms. Last episode, I was talking about how I took a quilling class at my local library, and how I'm trying to get more into going to the classes, like whenever they have classes on Friday afternoons or Sundays. But the last class that I did was a resin crafting class. And these are, which one is the front? These are this is the front. Okay. These are the pieces that I made. We're supposed to be making shamrock resin pendants, but the teacher told us that the shamrock shaped bezels that she ordered didn't come in time. So she just had other shaped bezels, and clover, like pressed clovers. So there they are. I feel like almost the video doesn't do them justice, so I'll put in pictures. But it was so much fun to take this class. I really enjoyed playing with the medium, like learning about how to mix color into the resin. So the first one that I did was the shamrock. This one I wanted to be really simple. I find that as a crafter, I tend to be like the do more if I'm not careful. So I really tried to be like, okay, let's move slowly. Let's like do less, you know? So the first one I made was this shamrock piece. I started with a clear base layer with gold glitter in it. And then I cut the shamrock to fit inside of it. And then covered with just a plain clear coat. And like the teacher and the lady who was sitting next to me was like, oh, why don't you add some more colors in it? Nope, no. Less is more. So this is what it looks like from the base side. So you see more of that glitter. And then from the front, I guess this would be the front. I don't know. The front side, it is just the leaves. So I had fun making that. When I finished that, they allowed you to make a second one and kind of like do your own thing, like choose your own adventure. So I did this moon, and originally I wanted to create something that looked like a galaxy inside. So I pulled like a dark blue, like a peacock kind of blue, a dark blue, a purple, and a black, and then some silver glitter. And that was the kind of picture or idea I went in with. So, and I also didn't want the colors to mix all the way, right? So my first color that I put in was this blue. And then, but when I put it in, it made me think of, waves. So I shifted gears completely and did, I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah, you can. So at the top, yeah. So at the top here, you can see like I tried to drag little wave shapes in the blue. So what I did when we poured the blue colored resin, I only poured it in this side and then I kind of dragged it up and then I cured it. And then I put just clear resin at the top. I put clear resin at the top to kind of mix in there. The bottom part has silver glitter. Well, actually the whole thing has silver glitter, but then I had a little bit of my clear with gold glitter left over from my shamrock, and I put a little dollop of the clear with the gold glitter in the top to kind of give, variety to the stars. You can barely notice the difference at glance, but when you really sit and look at it, you can see. I think I did really good with not mixing that pigment in. So you can see where it's clustered in different areas. And I just really liked how that looked. And when I finished this, like my classmates were really impressed with how it came out. So needless to say, I have purchased resin equipment. I'm just building my own arsenal of craft supplies so that if ever I'm struck with inspiration to do a certain thing, I can do it. And just knowing that I have the ability to jump in and out of different crafts as I see fit whenever makes me incredibly happy on the inside. So those are all of my finished objects. So works in progress. After I ran out of yarn on my summer secret crop, I pulled out this project. So this is a sock project that was my work project. So I try to keep a pair of socks in my desk drawer at work so that whenever I have a meeting or something like that, I can just pull that out and be working on it during those meetings or whatever. Because those projects live at work, they take 75 million years to finish. So these socks used to live in my drawer. I got sick and tired of looking at them, so I brought them home and was trying to work on them to get them finished. So I took them with me on the trip, and the first one was finished before the trip. The second one, which I don't even know which one is the first and which one is the second, but they are both done, the whole bodies now. All I need to do is cut in the afterthought heels on these. Part of me, the part of me that's sick of looking at these socks completely, is just like, leave them as tube socks, girl. I don't have any tube socks. I could leave them like this, but I don't think I'm going to. This yarn is Patton's Croy socks in the 50s stripes colorway. Love it. They just need heels, maybe, and then they'll be done. My next work in progress is the same kind of situation. Patton's Croy socks. This colorway is called Northern Lights, and I think I also got it in the Hobby Lobby clearance. I mentioned this before. I bought 2 of these to make the pair of socks and then subsequently lost the second one. I have no idea where I put it. So instead of making one sock and then potentially never being able to make the second sock, I have decided to do this as a cuff to cuff 2 at a time sock. So basically I'm going to knit the whole stripe yarn all the way down, like all the way through, and then I'm going to knit another cuff, and then I'll cut them in half, knit their toes, and then do afterthought heels. That way I can use up all of this yarn that I have, and I still get a good size sock. The contrast that I'm using, I think it's called like Pressed Flowers or something like that, but it's also a Patons Croy colorway that I got from Michaels. So I'll be using this for the toes and heels and the other cuff. So there's that. I like to make, if I had known that I actually lost that second ball, I would have started off with a toe and then knit the whole body and then knit the opposite toe. That way, when I cut them apart, I would be knitting both cuffs bottom up, so they would have the same bind off and everything. But this is where we are now. We're gonna go on with that. And my last work in progress is another amigurumi. I don't know what has gotten into me when it comes to making these little crochet toys, but it's all I really want to do right now, which is odd because I hate single crochets. This is what we're doing. So this is an amigurumi crochet kit that I got at Joann for Popcorn the Bunny. That's what Popcorn looks like. And this is as far as I have gotten in. It's like half of Popcorn's head, I think. Yeah, I think it's half of his head that I have worked up. This kit, just like the Dollar Tree kits, comes with the yarn, the stuffing, the crochet hook, the yarn needle, and like thread for the eyes, like the details. Biggest difference is the instructions are written out, so they make sense. So a beginner could definitely do these. And the crochet hook it comes with looks like the Clover Amora hooks, just non-branded. So this is a 3mm hook, which I have been using this one. I like it. I like the way that the pattern is written. My biggest complaint is the yarn. It is a cotton yarn, but it is just a regular cotton yarn, which means as you're crocheting with it, you're untwisting it, and then it becomes incredibly splitty. So on that side, I would say probably not beginner friendly, because that could be very frustrating for a beginner, especially if you're splitting the yarn or you're unable to catch the yarn in your stitches or in your hook. But that's the biggest downfall that I see with this particular kit, is just the yarn is so splitty, or the yarn, it becomes so splitty. You can remedy that by like every couple stitches letting go of the yarn and letting it twist back up, like letting the twist get back to where it was. But yeah, it can be a little bit frustrating. But other than that, so far so good. I am taking pictures of this as I go along, so you all will hopefully see this finished by next episode. And those are all of my, oh, no. I have another work in progress. Where did I put it? Here. So this is a random raglan shaped top that I'm working on. I started this on the trip when I finished my sock, because I finished that sock with like a day left. No, I finished that sock on the last day, but before we were traveling home. So I started this, and yeah, I started this on the last day and just kind of was working along, making it up as I went along. The sleeves are going to have like a netting down the arm. And yeah, this yarn is the Happy Place yarn by Hobie and Tony of TL Yarn Crafts. It is a mix of wool and cotton, I think, a wool cotton blend. And because of that blend, it's going to be excellent for Florida. It should work up to be quite breathable. I really have no plan for what this is going to eventually look like. It's probably going to end up being a short sleeve pullover because that's like my most wearable type garment. I have 3 balls of this yarn, and yeah, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to make with it. So I'm glad that I threw it in my bag and was just like, we're just going to start a top. There's that. So now that is all of my works in progress. So quickly, we can jump on over to maker plans. The ongoing maker plan of the year are going to be the monthly hats for my office Grinch. So right now he is sporting his St. Patrick's Day hat, which is super cute. I love it so much. I finished working on it at work one day when we were having the spring picnic. So I was sitting out there watching the goings on and crocheting on the hat. And my friend Rena was so impressed with the fact that I basically started and finished the hat while we were out there. And she asked if I could make a hat for her cat. So I did. And this is what Sinan looks like in his hat. I love it so much. So my Easter hat for Mr. Grinch is going to either be a pastel pink or a pastel blue with an Easter egg on the front. So you all will see that shortly. My other maker plans is just to start making more summer tops. So those are going to be your tank tops like this one. This is the Drinks on the Patio tank by Shanakay Salmon. And so I will want to make more tops like this, more sleeveless tops, more tank tops, more short sleeve tops, cotton, etc., so that I can wear my handmade things during the summer, because summer is coming, y'all. It is coming. And if this spring is any indication as to the wrath that will be coming with summer, because when I tell you the amount of pollen that has been like just coming for my soul, just trying to take me out of this world this year, baby, summer's gonna come in throwing bows. I feel it. So I would like to have handmade tops that make me feel good that I can wear when the summer is trying to murder me. So that is my other maker plan. With that in mind, this is my first stash position that I wanted to show you guys. This beautiful yellow, like this is my favorite yellow. Like this yellow and then that mustard yellow. Those are my favorite shades of yellow. But I saw this in the Dollar Tree when I was on the hunt for the macrame things for my mom, and I had to pick it up. I think I bought all that they had on the shelf because you don't want to run out, because this yarn is very, very specific to the dye lots. So if you're gonna make anything with the Dollar Tree cotton yarn, check your dye lots. PSA over. But when I saw this, all I could think of was I want that to be a garment that I wear, because it just, this shade of yellow just really makes me smile. So I have been playing around with a, I don't know, granny square inspired square so that I can create a top based on that, because I don't want to do just basic granny stitch, but I also want it to be something that I can do that is as simple as basic granny stitch, that I won't get bogged down with, but I just really enjoy making, you know. So just working on that. No real plan. That's why it's not in the work in progress section, but I definitely want to use this to create a summer top. Like I would just be wearing my own sunshine and it would just bring me so much joy. The next thing is a not maker plan. It's a work in progress ish. I thrifted 3 skeins of this yarn. Where's the one that's still in the bag? This is Karen Chunky Cakes in the turquoise swirl colorway. I found 3 of these at one of my favorite thrift stores. And I started just kind of winging a cardigan. And I'm going to make it where it's going to be 2 strips that are folded in half, sewn up the side for the side seams, and then the sleeves will be worked in like that. Very boxy, very straightforward and simple, just because I wanted something that wasn't going to use a whole lot of brain cells. So I don't know what's going on with this edge, but yeah, the colors are very me. I do love these colors. This much crochet brought me down to this size of ball. And originally I only bought 2 of the 3. And then when I started working on this, I just kept thinking, what if I run out of yarn and I really needed that 3rd one, and then I go back and someone bought it. So the next day I went out and bought the third ball of this yarn. It's really soft. I like it. I think it's 100% acrylic. This colorway is still for sale in stores. So if you like it, it's still available in stores. But yeah, got that. I really like it. Take a sip. The last yarny stash acquisition I have was a gift of this much yarn. This is Cascade Yarns 220 Superwash. The color is 1920. It is such a beautiful, rich brown. I have no idea what I'm going to make with it, but this is from the co-lead, I don't know, of the Knit and Crochet Club that we have at work. I'm the crocheter, she is the knitter, and she knit a sweater using this yarn, and this was the leftovers that she had. So we did a trade where I gave her some mohair yarn that I had in my stash that I wasn't going to use because I found it makes me really itchy. So I gave her that mohair and she gave me her leftovers of this. I feel like it's going to be some sort of tank, but then also I feel like I need other colors in it so that I don't look low-key naked. Right? So I'm really excited about this. I love this brown. It's so beautiful. It's heathered. It's a beautiful color. Yeah. Very nice. I love. But that's the last yarny stash acquisition. My final stash acquisition was also a gift from a viewer. She said she had gotten these quilling supplies and wasn't going to use them. And so she sent me them as give these supplies a happy home. So there's so many things in that supply kit that I didn't buy for myself. Like as a person who's starting out in quilling, I didn't want to get all of the stuff, right? I just wanted to get the basics. And so now with this gift, I have more things that I can play with, more things I can do. And I'm really excited to kind of get into it. She also gave me a pair of socks. So let me show you my socks. Here they are. She said when she saw the colorway, she's like, oh, these are very Kalisha. And yes, they are. I am nothing if not consistent. So I really like them. I tried them on, they fit perfectly. and I just need to add them to my sock rotation, and I will be wearing these to work. Yay! I just love the fact that all of the socks that I wear to work are handmade socks. It's like such a quiet flex. But yeah, I do that. That's me. So thank you so much, Aquila, for sending me those quilling supplies and these socks. And I have an idea in mind that I want to make for one of my friends. I just kind of have to work it out as to like what shapes that I want to create so that I can make this thing. Lives in my head. We're trying to bring it into the real world. But that is all of the crafty bits, and all that's left is the Plant Mama Life and whatnot. We have no Plant Mama updates. The weather is warming up, obviously. All the plants are waking up outside. So probably in the next month or so, we'll see some more updates on my plants and stuff. But as of right now, everybody's chilling. Life and whatnot, though. Speaking of my co-lead in the knit and crochet group, it's called Pearls of Wisdom, which is adorable. But I received a knitting machine from a church member. She asked me if it was something that I could use, and I was like, sure. And so she gave me her knitting machine. It's a Bond Incredible Sweater machine. And I already have the exact same machine that I found at a thrift store. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to take this one and take it to the school so that we can use it during the knit and crochet club. I kept forgetting to get it out of Lamar's car. So I finally took it to the club last Thursday, and turned out no students showed up last Thursday because it's getting to the end of the trimester. So I'm not surprised. They're school first, yarny things later. That's fine. So it ended up just being me, Sarah, and security in there the whole time. And we were learning to use the knitting machine. It was missing the weight bar for tension, and go figure, that's a very important piece. But we ended up figuring out how to rig it up to work. And when I tell you, we were putting our brains together and working through this, it was so much fun to do all of that problem solving to try to get this thing to work with what we had available to us. It was great. But we eventually got it working. The amount of joy, crazy high. The squeals of happiness, the cackling, delightful. I loved it. Here for it. We're going to do it again next week. But I was excited to get that knitting machine up and running. I will be taking the weight bar from mine to work with me next Thursday so that we can use it. And I'll just keep it in the car. So if I decide I want to actually use my knitting machine at home, I can. Or I can use the one at work. Get another angle. Oh no.
More towards the back. I got you. I got your tension.
It mentioned quilling earlier. So my mom is doing a lock-in with her Pathfinders at the beginning of April. And Pathfinders are basically Boy and Girl Scouts, but in the Adventist church. So the lock-in is essentially like a sleepover that they're going to do with all of the kids. And during that time, they're going to have different sections where the kids can learn a particular honor or skill badge, right? And because I've taken one class of quilling and made a card myself, I'm a professional quiller. And so my mom was like, can you teach the kids how to quill? And I was like, sure I can. You just got to stay one lesson ahead in order to teach somebody something, right? So I will be doing the quilling honor for my mom's Pathfinder lock-in. And she actually, like, she put me on, or she told me where the Pathfinder honors are listed online. I want to say it's like pathfindersonline.org or something like that. And you can, so I looked up the quilling honor, and there's the questions, like the requirements for receiving the honor has different questions and things you need to know. And then it also gives you the answer key. So when I was looking at it, the answer key broke down how to do all the different shapes and everything. So I could literally just go step by step through the answer key to teach these students, teach these children, these honors. But at the same time, I was just like, I could go step by step through this and teach myself. And there are so many like skills, honors, and things, honor badges that they have listed for Pathfinders to earn. And I'm like, I just want to go through the craft section and just learn everything on there. I think I might do that. So there's that. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I got to kind of put together my lesson plan for them so that we can do that. The last thing that I wanted to talk more about was the Survivors to Scholars HBCU tour, which is the trip that Lamar, my husband, planned and executed. I was a chaperone. We had 14 students, and we went through so many different colleges and universities. These are all of the schools that we visited. The ones with stars are ones that we couldn't get on campus because they were closed for spring break. But that is such a huge list. We were going from sunup to sundown throughout the whole time. And then in between the college visits, we went to historic sites. So we went to museums, and that was basically all the different things that we did. Just there are all kinds of different museums. It was a really good trip in that the students were exposed to so many different HBCUs that they hadn't been exposed to before, and we were able to visit those places that are very important when it comes to African American history. We went to the Birmingham Civil Rights Museum. We went to the Legacy Museum in Montgomery. We were supposed to go to the International African American Museum in Charleston, but there was a flash flood that day, so we couldn't go. That was wild. What else did we do? I can't even remember all of the places that we went. I mentioned the Martin Luther King Jr. Historic Park. We went and visited. There's a museum on site there. It was just so much. And one of the things that kind of struck me throughout this experience, we also went to the Voting Rights Museum in Selma. We walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Like, all of these moments that we know from, learning Black history, or you're seeing movies inspired by events in the civil rights movement and everything like that. And being able to like walk those steps was really, it was really impactful for me. But the thing, like the biggest takeaway or realization that I had was that a lot of these things are things that these students were finding out about for the first time, and it was hard for me to kind of conceptualize that, because a lot of these events and stories and facts are just so interwoven in me as an adult, like knowing these stories, like from growing up, to have one of the students tell me that that day at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute was the first time that she learned about the 16th Street bombing. And it was interesting. Like, I don't know what the right word is, but when she said that to me, I'm like, wait, what do you mean you'd never heard of this, this bombing or these 4 girls that lost their lives that day? Like, to me, if anyone ever says the phrase 4 little girls, that's what I'm thinking about, So it was interesting to me to be like, you know what, Kalisha, everyone doesn't have this like knowledge. And that's why it's important to have these places and to visit these places and to keep them up and running so that, current generations can learn the history of, Black people in America, can learn like, okay, this is where we come from. So this is why it's important to show up and carry yourself to the best of your, ability to hold yourself to excellence, because these are the shoulders of the people that you're standing on, right? And another thing that I was really trying to reiterate to them is that this history is still breathing. This is not ancient history, right? And I feel like I was able to, have those conversations with the students, specifically in that Civil Rights Institute, because of the way it was set up. You go in one side and you kind of loop around, you come out the other. And I found that a big chunk of our students had just kind of like breezed through. So when I got to the end and I saw them kind of like sitting around on their phones and stuff, I was asking them, what did you learn? Some of them are in Lamar's African American history class, and they were telling me things that, that they learned in class, and they were like, yeah. And I said, no, tell me something new. Tell me something different. Tell me something that that you read that impacted you. Tell me something that made you feel something. So a lot of them ended up going back in and walking through again so that they could be like, okay, they start calling me Mama Ryan. Okay, Mama Ryan, this is what I learned. This is what, I can't believe that this happened, and it just felt good to be able to be a part of these students learning more of their history and learning more of the history of this country that we live in. And just, I think the most impactful thing that I was able to communicate to them was this history is still breathing. Because a lot of them were talking about, like, they were talking to Lamar and telling him like this was like the first time that they saw pictures of civil rights events in color, because in your history books, or in their history books, they were always in black and white, so it always felt so far removed from them. But seeing them in color and seeing the time and putting the dates in context to their own lives, putting the dates in context to like when their parents were born and stuff like that, was able to kind of like have them connect it with like, okay, this is not ancient Rome. You know what I mean? This is not so long ago, and we did the same thing when we went through the Legacy Museum, which itself is such a heavy museum. I was crying for like the whole time. A lot of that museum has to do with the history of lynchings and terror killings and the mass incarceration of Black folk in this country. So it is a lot of heavy content. There were times where one of the students came up to me. I was standing in front of one of the walls that is just covered with reasons that people have been lynched, and just, anyway, I'm standing there and I'm crying, like tears just flowing down your girl's face. And he comes up to me and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I told him no. And I feel like as adults, a lot of times when young people or children ask us, "Are you okay?" we're quick to be like, "Yeah, I'm okay." I specifically chose to be like, "No, I'm not okay. And this is the reason I'm not okay." And I feel like because they had gotten like kind of built that rapport with me, it's like Mama Ryan or whatever. They were like, this is something that's really making her upset, and it kind of allowed them to like sit in that a little bit. But it was such a cute moment. He was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No." And he asked me why, and I was just pointed at the wall, like, all of this is why I'm not okay. All of this is just sitting on my chest and pulling the air out of me, and I don't understand how people could be like this, And he goes, he put his arm on my shoulder, was like, "There." Oh, such sweet little kids. But yeah, I'm glad that I was able to be a part of that trip, and I'm glad that the students were able to go and to have these experiences. It was really good. So look out for fundraising for next year's Survivors to Scholars HBCU trip. Next year, Lamar wants to, instead of going in a small loop, he wants to go up the East Coast and hit the HBCUs going up towards Delaware, which is really cool. But it's a good thing. It was heavy. It was tiring. There were like nights where like my knees swole up to the size of freaking grapefruits by like the third day. And I was just icing my legs at the end of every day because we did so much walking and so much. But it was totally worth it. And I am going to do it again. So there's that. But that is everything, y'all. If you have a bright spot that you would like to share, put that in the comments. And I am going to go and do some chores like a good adult. But I hope you are well. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for being a part of my universe. Bye, friends.